Hello, hello, YouTube! Welcome back to everyone's favorite channel that has no idea what direction to go for content. But for today's Flavor of the Month video, we're gonna talk about a little something historical, a little novel by the name of The Tale of Genji. The Tale of Genji was written in the 11th century during the peak of the Heian era in Japan. It was written by a lady-in-waiting and a noble by the name of Murasaki Shikibu. This tale depicts the lifestyle and ecosystems of the Heian-era courts that were populated by nobles and highborns similar to our author. Murasaki wrote this tale at the apex of Clan Fujiwara's influence. During this time, the most powerful political figure, Fujiwara no Mashinaga, even partially inspired Genji's character. The original translation sports many oddities that are particularly iconic to the time period, such as none of the characters having actual names, but rather a title that suits their function. This comes from the Heian-era taboo of openly using another person's name. Saying someone's actual name was considered too blunt and generally uncouth. It's also worth mentioning that you needed a PhD in Heian-era linguistics if you wanted to read this novel, before Akiko Yosano got his hands on it in the 20th century and translated it into something a little more readable, which was modern Japanese. Originally, The Tale of Genji was written in Orihon style, which is also known as concertina style, but I like to refer to it as the accordion book. However, the original manuscript has been lost to time. The original Japanese name of The Tale of Genji is Genji Monogatari. Wait. Monogatari? No, not that Monogatari. But if you're like me, you probably didn't know that Monogatari is a genre of Japanese literature that is pretty comparable to a traditional epic. The Tale of Genji begins with Genji's soon-to-be mother, Kiritsubo, who is the emperor's favorite concubine despite not having any familial backing in the court, which is apparently a big deal seeing as everyone just bullies her for that reason. Kiritsubo soon gives birth to Genji, who is noted as being beautiful, but this is really bad for Kiritsubo because everyone in the emperor's court knows that Genji will one day rival the crown prince, and because of this, Kiritsubo's rivals insult her so much she gets sick and dies. Pretty sick. Genji is taken care of by his grandmother until she dies and some Korean ambassadors drop by and say, "Hey, this kid, he's gonna do some great things, he's gonna be going places." But since Genji has no maternal support in court, the emperor says, "Hey buddy, you can't sit at the big boy table yet, but you can sit here with the other commoners." And the emperor makes Genji a member of the non-royal Genji clan, which is essentially a participation prize for having a mom in the emperor's league of concubines. Genji soon grows up to be a handsome and talented young fellow, which makes the crown prince's mother, Lady Kokiden, nervous. Because of Genji's charming good looks, the first part of the tale revolves around Genji's numerous relationships with multiple women, which today we might consider some of these relationships a little bit questionable. These relationships include his friend Tono Chujo's sister, who goes by the name Aoi, the same friend's mistress, and a young boy. After witnessing the death of his friend's mistress, Genji gets sick and can't attend the courts anymore that he's supposed to attend as a member of these said courts. So he decides to do what any sane sick person does when they're living in the 11th century, and decides to go see his local cave-dwelling holy man. While getting treatment, Genji sees a, quote, beautiful 10-year-old girl. This girl reminds him of the concubine who replaced his mom when she died, Fujitsubo. As it turns out, this 10-year-old girl is Murasaki, the niece of the very concubine that Genji suspected. Genji decides that he wants to adopt Murasaki. His intentions are a little unclear but he has a dubious past with women, and this is a 10-year-old. But still, that doesn't stop Genji. He tries to adopt her twice. Both times he's rejected. Soon he recovers from his illness and returns to the courts that he was originally required to attend. While he's at these courts, he ends up getting Fujitsubo pregnant. The Emperor has no idea that Genji has done this. So it's a win. Genji tries to adopt Murasaki again, is refused again. Soon, though, Murasaki is made available for adoption. Word gets to Murasaki's father, who decides he will take her under his wing and actually raise her like a father should. Genji gets in the way of this beautiful display of paternal affection by adopting Murasaki. By force, he kidnaps her. While Genji is educating his newly adopted daughter at Nijo Palace, Genji's father, the Emperor, dies and is succeeded by the Crown Prince. Word soon gets out about Genji's womanizing misadventures, and he's essentially exiled to Suma for a few years, where he meets the ex-governor of Harima and his daughter, the Akashi woman. When Genji is finally able to return, the Emperor abdicates the crown to Genji's secret son, Fujitsubo's son, which is pretty good for Genji because this means his status in court has been fully restored and actually just keeps getting better. He decides to settle down in a mansion at Rakujo with all of his harem, including Murasaki. The final 10 chapters of the Tale of Genji revolve around Genji's son and grandson, Kaoru and Neo, who rival each other. This arc also features the daughters of Genji's half-brother, who is the 8th prince. When you look at this ancient piece of Japanese literature and you're familiar with some of the tropes of anime and other forms of literature, you can see where a lot of inspiration has been taken. See, this novel was actually the first novel ever written, and it was pretty popular with Murasaki's peers in the Heian courts, and it was even read by the Emperor during the time, so it was really popular. But it, as I said before, became pretty unreadable after about a century, until Akiko got his hands on it and translated it into actual readable modern Japanese. Today, the Tale of Genji still holds much praise and has received a plethora of adaptations, including an anime adaptation that was released in 1987. Hey fella, welcome to the end of the video club, which I've just inducted you into because you've made it to the end of my video. If you like this content or you like my other content, maybe consider subscribing, and you can be inducted into the even more prestigious Subscribers Club. I made this video for my final project for my world literature class, so I put a bit more effort into it than I have my other videos. So please leave your comments and criticisms in the section below, which is made for those things. And maybe I'll see you next time.